life is fragile, but sometimes death arrives in ways that are sudden, violent, and brutally intrusive. One moment you're laughing with the people you love, sharing food, playing games, surrounded by warmth, and the next moment, everything you cherish is ripped away, not because of fate, not because of an accident, but because of someone else's cruelty. The story you're about to hear is filled with pain, fear, and unimaginable loss. And before anything else, our deepest respect goes out to the Ortega family and everyone whose lives were shattered by this tragedy. Imagine a home full of people celebrating Christmas Eve. Food, lights, noise, children running around, relatives playing cards, everyone relaxed and full of holiday spirit. But in just seconds, that joy flipped into terror. On December 24th, 2008, the Covina massacre devastated the city of Covina, California. 9 people lost their lives. A close-knit community was left stunned. Gunshots echoed, flames erupted, and a peaceful family gathering dissolved into chaos and tragedy. The attack left survivors traumatized, investigators speechless, and the public asking, how could something like this happen? The Ortega home was full of life that night. In the dining room, 80-year-old Papa Joseph Ortega and his wife Alicia, married for 53 years, were playing Texas Hold'em with their children. They had just finished dinner, and the atmosphere was warm and filled with laughter. In the backyard, several of the grandchildren were hanging out near the pool, playing video games and talking. They were having such a great time that they begged to stay up late. Upstairs, 17-year-old Michael Ortega was at his computer, typing quietly and minding his own business. Everyone was comfortable, relaxed, and safe. No one imagined danger was just a few feet away. The knock at the door, then, at around 11:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. An 8-year-old girl, full of excitement and still buzzing from the holiday, sprinted toward the door and squealed, "Santa Claus, Santa Claus." A man wearing a full Santa suit walked into the home and immediately pulled out a 9mm handgun. Without a word, he aimed at the little girl and shot her in the face. Her uncles rushed to help her, but they too were shot within seconds. Panic spread instantly. People screamed, scrambled, slipped on the floor, ran in every direction. Some tried to hide. Others tried to protect children. Others froze, unable to process the horror unfolding in front of them. The man dressed as Santa was Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, the bitter, angry ex-husband of Sylvia Ortega, one of Joseph and Alicia's daughters. He was armed, he was prepared, and he was determined to destroy the entire family. After firing repeatedly into the dining room, the living room, and toward the hallway, Bruce pulled out a homemade device built from 2 large pressurized tanks. Within seconds, he unleashed a blast of accelerant that ignited into a violent fireball. The explosion was so intense that flames burst upward as high as 40 to 50 feet, roughly the size of a 5-story building. Firefighters later said they had rarely seen anything burn so fast or so hot. It took 80 firefighters more than 90 minutes to bring the blaze under control. Inside the home, the fire spread faster than anyone could have predicted. The heat was so extreme that bodies were burned beyond recognition, structural beams melted, furniture vaporized, the roof collapsed. Forensic teams had to rely on dental records and medical histories, X-rays, surgical implants, bone structures, to identify the victims. This was not just a fire, it was deliberate annihilation. Bruce Pardo showed no mercy. He killed Joseph Ortega, Alicia Ortega, 4 of their children, 2 daughters-in-law, their 17-year-old grandson Michael, who had been quietly sitting at his computer upstairs. A family that had been laughing together moments before was almost completely wiped out. Between 25 to 30 people had been there that night. Many escaped through windows, the backyard, or by climbing over fences. Some were burned, others were wounded. All were terrified. Most survivors chose not to speak publicly. However, investigators shared what they learned from those who did talk. The chaos was indescribable. When the shooting started, several adults were gathered near the front door preparing to say their goodbyes, creating a cluster of easy targets. One of the Ortega sons, Charles, recognized the attacker immediately. The moment Bruce shot his little niece, someone screamed, "It's Bruce! It's Bruce!" Charles and his brother James tried to fight back, even after being wounded. According to Irma Ortega, a family member, both men attempted to stand up and rush him despite their injuries, but they were shot again before they could reach him. The family fought. They didn't just surrender, but Bruce was heavily armed and completely relentless. Some of the kids survived simply because of where they were in the house. Most of them were in the back watching TV or playing games when the rampage began. Adults grabbed them, carried them out, and rushed them to neighbors' yards. A 16-year-old girl was shot in the back but lived. The only young family member who didn't survive was 17-year-old Michael. Investigators believe he was killed either by the blast or the flames caused by Bruce's improvised incendiary device. He wasn't even aware of the attack happening downstairs. His mother, Alicia, also died that night. So why did Bruce unleash such destruction? Bruce, 45, was consumed by anger over the collapse of his marriage. His divorce from Sylvia had become final just 1 week before Christmas. He was bitter, vengeful, and blaming everyone but himself. An FBI behavioral analysis team later reported signs of extreme narcissism, obsessive-compulsive tendencies, and severe emotional instability. Again, none of this excuses what he did, but it offers insight into his deteriorating mindset. Instead of seeking help, Bruce turned his rage into a plan. Bruce had no intention of sticking around after the attack. He had bought a plane ticket to Illinois, packed supplies, and set up an escape route. But when his flamethrower ignited, he underestimated the force of the explosion and suffered severe burns on his arms, hands, and legs. His Santa suit melted into his skin. Realizing he couldn't flee, Bruce drove 40 miles to his brother's house in Selma. There, he ended his own life with a gunshot through the mouth. His brother found him around 3 a.m., still wearing his wedding ring, surrounded by burned fabric fused to his body. Lieutenant Fred Corral from the L.A. County Coroner's Office revealed that Bruce had a wound on the top of his head, suggesting he shot himself in the mouth. Toxicology tests later determined whether drugs or alcohol played a role. When police searched Bruce's body, they found $177,000 in cash strapped to his legs and discovered his rental car rigged to explode. Inside his brother's house were 4 empty handguns, over 200 rounds of ammunition, and pieces of his Santa suit wired to explode. Back at his home, officers uncovered a virtual bomb factory, high-capacity magazines, a Benelli M2 shotgun, flammable gasoline, and other dangerous devices. Outwardly, Bruce seemed friendly. Neighbors recalled him in his Santa suit, chatting and smiling. But behind the facade, his marriage had collapsed, and he was secretly stockpiling weapons while planning an escape. Bruce met Sylvia Orza in 2004, and they married, but after a year, he grew distant and cold. Arguments escalated over money, and by March 2008 they separated. Sylvia moved in with her sister, and Bruce quietly prepared for revenge. He bought multiple guns, magazines exceeding California limits, and a Santa suit, all while finalizing the divorce just before Christmas. Survivor Letitia Yusupski refuses to let anger dominate her life. "I can't change what happened. I focus on the good in my life and the support we've received." She teaches love over hate, especially to children, saying, "Our kids are our future. If we teach them violence and hate, what hope do we have?" Her daughter Katrina, who survived the massacre at 8, continues her family's mission to honor loved ones and keep traditions alive. On Christmas Eve, they visit the cemetery instead of church, ensuring the surviving children feel joy despite the tragedy. Letitia emphasizes healing, gratitude, and resilience, choosing love over the hatred that tried to destroy her family. Share your thoughts below. And if you want more videos like this, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next case.